Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let me start. Okay, today we are starting new subject, new concept. So that is what we called arithmetic functions. So Shivani, actually you are there in the previous class. Okay, so it is little boring maybe for you. Okay, so arithmetic functions are actually simply a map. Okay, so arithmetic functions are maps from natural numbers to somewhere. Okay, is it visible, Khyati?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So arithmetic function is a map. Okay, it is a map f from natural numbers to any set. Actually, you can take x also. For example, first define x. Then what is that it is doing? You know, it is a map. Map means one map to some element here. So let us call that as x1. Now two map to x2, right? So what is that I'm going to get? x1 comma x2 comma like that. Okay, so this is a sequence actually. Okay, so any function from natural numbers to any set is called a sequence. But here maximum possible cases, this you come across in your real analysis course also. Sequences are mapping from natural numbers to real numbers. Okay, in complex case, complex sequences. But in our case, actually, we restricted to integers actually, and much more 99% will restrict to natural numbers only. So arithmetic function simply is a map from natural numbers to real numbers. Or okay, so I need to define row. So I need to define. So that's why I'm defining now. Any map from natural numbers to complex numbers is called an arithmetic function. Is an arithmetic function. So this is the definition. Nothing more, nothing less. So it is also called number theoretic function.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. So didn't you say it was R, N to R?
No, I am telling n to complex numbers directly. So I am defining like this, but you can see we can restrict. See, I told it is a codomain. So I can take real numbers. I can restrict to real numbers. I can restrict to. Some whenever it is needed. If all of them are the range is real number, then I can put simply see. I take it as R. But more generally, I define like this.
Okay,
Okay,
sir. Got it.
right. Okay. So it actually in real analysis it is just a sequence actually. Okay, a map from natural numbers to complex numbers is an arithmetic function. Okay, and also it is also called number theoretic function. Also called number theoretic function. So let us take some examples. So I'm defining a map. Okay, what is the simplest map? Somebody can help me. So somebody asks you give an example of a map. What is that you give? So Anusha.
Identity map.
Identity map. How identity map? Who is telling that? Identity map is what? Identity map.
No, not identity. Not identity. I said I gave a wrong example. I said we can have a constant function.
Okay, so generally constant function is one thing. So that is the first function you need to tell. Every element is mapped to single element. So I'm defining that map. U of n is equal to 1. Okay, for every n belongs to n. So every natural number is mapped to 1. Okay, so this is we will use. Okay, this is a notation now. So in future also u of n means capital U of n means, so it is a constant map, every element mapped to 1. So I request you to remember this. Another map, n of n is equal to n only. See, this is a called inclusion map. So natural numbers is subset of complex numbers. Because of that, so I map it. So if my codomain is also natural number, then it is an identity map. Okay, so this is for every n belongs to n. Okay, so this is another map. So we have. Okay, great. Okay, so another map I will going to define is so delta of n. Okay, which is equal to 1 if n is equal to 1, 0 if n is not equal to 1. Is the map clear? So in this case, my codomain should be at least whole numbers because I'm mapping n to 0, right? That's the reason. Okay. Yeah. Great. So these three functions are clear to you. Can you tick yes, please? So as any students, can you tick yes? If these three functions are clear to you? Yes.
N of n to n is not identity map, right?
It is not identity map. Identity map means that it is called inclusion map. Identity map, domain and codomain should be same. Now codomain is a bigger set, complex numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
See, A is a subset of B. Okay, A is a subset of B. Then I can map X to X itself, right?
Yes.
So in this case, we'll call this an inclusion map. Okay, identity map is also inclusion, but every inclusion map is not identity map. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
A map, when A is subset of B, A is in the subset of B, then we'll say that this map X going to X. That is reasonable now. That map is called inclusion map and people denote like this. Some notation for it. Okay. So instead of writing inclusion map and defining all those, okay, whenever A is subset of B, we'll call inclusion map. Identity map is inclusion map because every set is subset to itself. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, now I'm actually defining some function. So this function is called tau function. So tau is defined from, now I'm defining natural numbers to natural numbers only. Okay, I'm restricting my codomain also to n. How it is defined? Tau of n is equal to number of positive divisors of n. Okay, is it a question is clear? Number of positive divisors of n. Okay, so let us work out this particular thing. Okay, so number of positive divisors of n. Okay, so let us have a table. So those who are earlier attended this particular thing, so I'll go a little fast. Give me some time, I'll go a little fast. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have to give for every natural number, but I'm just let us see how we can go about it. Okay. Now somebody can tell me, so this is n and this is tau of n. Okay. So Lohit, can you tell us what is tau of 1?
1,
1. Tau of 2?
2,
2. Tau of 3?
2,
2. Tau of 4?
3,
3. Okay. Tau of 5?
2,
2. Tau of 6?
4.
Okay. Why 4 you told?
1, 2, 3, and 6.
Okay. 4 divisors are there. That's fine. Very good. Yeah. 7?
2,
8?
5.
Mm-hmm.
4.
4. Okay. 9?
1, 3, and 3.
3. Okay. 10?
3. 4.
4. Thank you. No problem. You are very fast actually. So more than expected. So I hope every one of you clear, right? Not asking very tough questions. So number of divisors only. So all of you are clear. So now I will ask one person, right? So please participate. Do not worry about Santosh. Okay, Santosh, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me for what values you can tell? See, some numbers he's telling very fast, but some numbers he's not that fast. So can you tell me some numbers? Why? Which numbers you can tell immediately very fast?
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Okay. In general, can you tell me that?
I don't get your question, sir.
So no. Tau of n I need to find out. Tau of 1, tau of 2, like that. All natural numbers, every natural numbers I have to find out. Do you know some numbers where it is easy to? You already know the answer. Okay. So don't worry. I will come back to you again. Okay. So Anusha, can you tell us Whatever numbers you are very familiar, easy, you can tell.
So primes.
Primes. Okay, good. So what is that? If P is a prime number, okay, I'll just let me write. Let P be a prime number. Let P be a prime number. Now, Santosh, are you able to tell? So for prime number, what is tau of P? Santosh. No, okay, no problem. Anusha, can you tell us now?
Two, sir.
Two, right? That's what, okay. So you actually at one shot you told that all primes it is 2, right? Okay. Now somebody else can tell me for some other numbers now. Okay, I'll ask one of you. Okay. So Aditya,
Yes, sir.
can you go to some other numbers easily? You can tell.
P to the n.
Okay, very good. So P power K. Again, P is a prime number. What is the answer here?
2 to the power
2 to the power? Yeah, please tell.
k, sir.
No. See, it is a prime number P power 1 here. It is itself violating.
Oh, right.
So check with 4. 4.
No, sir. I'm saying 2 to the power k. So
Okay.
either k is 1. So
Okay, 2 to the
2
power
to
of
the
K
power
you
of
are saying.
yes, sir.
2 to the power of K you are saying.
Right.
But that is not correct. Okay. See, so why it is not correct? Let us take 4, right?
Right.
Yeah, so 4 it is not correct, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So P power K, how many? You can check with 8 and 4 and so P power K. So for simplest prime is 2, right?
Sir, is
So
it
2.
1 plus k?
Yeah, so okay, do not tell Lohit. Yeah, answer is correct, K plus 1, but everyone has to see, na? Yeah. So why K plus 1? Okay, tell me Lohit.
If p power 1 is, we have p power 1 is equal to 2, right? So
No,
p
P power K, you tell me directly for P power K, why it is K plus 1. Go fast, yeah.
okay, for 2 we have 2, for 2 square you have 3, for 2 power 3 you have 4. So you have a sequence of k
No,
plus
that is okay. Directly tell for P power K. What are the divisors of P power K?
okay, p square, p cube, and so on till p power k.
But then we'll get only K,
Plus
not K
1,
plus
1 also.
so what is your, so what are the divisors of P power K, positive divisors of P power K? Tell one more time.
1 p square,
1 means P power 0.
yeah,
P power 1, P power
p
2.
square,
So that
so
is
on
the thing.
p power k.
So these are the only divisors of P power K. So how many are there? K plus 1, right? That's why tau of P power K is equal to K plus 1, right? Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir.
So now can you see 6 and 10 and somebody can generalize? Yeah, somebody
Can you
has a
please
question.
explain the last part again?
Kshiti, yeah. So you tell me, Kshiti. So 3 power 3, what are the divisors of 3 power 3, Kshiti?
So 3 power 0, 3 power 1, 3 power 2, and 3 power
Yeah.
3 itself.
How many are there?
4. Okay, got it.
Got it. Very good.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so good, nice. So we have K plus 1 elements are there. So that's why we have. So you got that P power K you got, but my final goal is that if n is equal to, so P1 power A1 up to Pk power Ak, okay, not only for primes and prime powers, I want tau of n for every n. So that is my goal. So how do you find it? That we will see. No need to worry at this juncture. We'll do it slowly. So this is one question we have in with us and we will do it. Okay. So, but you all clear with the tau function first. So it is called divisor function. Number of positive divisors of n. Okay. Great. Okay. Now I am defining another function. So, okay, fine. So this part is clear to all of you. Now let us define another function. Okay, so the function now I am defining is sigma. Sigma is a map from again natural numbers to natural numbers, right? Now the map is So sigma of n is equal to sum of the divisors of n. Sum of the divisors of n. Okay, is it clear? Sum of the divisors of n. Okay, great. So I'll come back to this in a while again. Yeah, some gap is there. I will use it in a while. So again, let us construct the table, and in the meantime, please ready with what is that I expect, okay, from you. So sigma of n here, what is sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Be ready, okay? All of you, get ready. So Arjit, are you there? Hello, Arjit. Okay, no problem. So Aditya, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Okay. So sigma of n is sum of the divisors of n. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, what is sigma of 1?
1, sir.
1 only. What is sigma of 2?
3, sir.
3, very good.
4.
Sigma 3, 4, 5, 4?
7. 7.
7.
6.
Okay.
12.
12. Okay.
8.
8. Okay.
Just 1. Just 1. 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 15.
Okay.
9, 13.
9 by 30. The divisor
1,
13.
3.
1, 3. Okay.
Yes,
Fine.
sir. 13, sir.
Yeah.
1, 2, 8.
18.
18.
18. Okay. Yeah, I think. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes,
So you understand that what is sigma? Okay.
yes,
Is
sir.
it clear? Is it clear, Anusha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So now again for you, Anusha. So can you tell some numbers? It is easy to figure out. You know those numbers, and for them it is easy. Answer is you tell directly.
Prime again?
Yeah, prime. What is answer? Tell me. Go fast.
The prime and plus 1.
Yeah. So sigma of p. Let p be a prime number. Let p be a prime number. Okay. Then what is sigma of p?
So p plus 1.
P plus 1. Very good. Now, so natural question. So Aditya again.
Yes,
P
sir.
power k. Can you tell the answer for p power k?
I'm guessing, is it p power k plus 1?
No. So what are the divisors of p power k? You know. So just sum it. Later, how much final answer we'll see later.
Oh, is it p plus 1 itself?
No, p power k. What happened to you, Aditya? No,
So just a minute.
What are the divisors of p power k? Okay, take it. Sorry, sorry, somebody is telling. Yeah.
Sir, there are 2 Adityas.
No, Aditya. So Aditya. Aditya Arora. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Aditya Arora.
So that's 1 plus p to the n
1 plus
minus
p plus 1 plus p plus
p square plus so on till
yeah.
p power k.
P power k, right? Okay, great. So this you know, right? So since you know the divisor, so you can add them, right? Very good. Now, great. So what is this answer equal to finally?
P
Can you
to the
simplify?
k plus 1 minus 1 by
P power k plus 1 minus 1 by
p minus 1.
p minus 1. So that's what. See, Aditya struggled a little bit for 8, right? Now you can easily tell. So 8 is equal to 2 cube. So 2 power 4. 2 power 4 minus 1. By 2 minus 1 is anyhow 1. So you see that. So in general, for 2, what is sigma of 2 power k?
2 to the k
2 power k
plus
plus 1 minus 1.
See, now it is easy, right? You know that
Yes.
what are the sum of all divisors of 2 power k? Sum of all divisors of 2 power k is simply 2 power k plus 1 minus 1. Okay, great. But I'll little bit modify this function. This is called divisor sum function. Divisor sum function, right? Okay. Now I'll little bit modify this. Okay. Now I'll define sigma k of n. Okay. Sigma k of n is kth power, sum of the kth powers of the divisors of n. Okay. So somebody can tell me how do I define it? How do I define it? Means this is a summation, right? I'm adding them. Which one I'm adding? Only divisors I'm adding. So first sigma n, how do you write? Somebody can help me. How to write sigma of n? In the form of summation or something. Some doubt is there? Somebody raise your hand.
Summation
Sankriti. Sankriti, what is your question? 1 minute. Yeah. Sankriti, you have some question?
Yes, sir. I had a question on something that we did before this.
Okay.
Can I ask now? Or is it...
Yeah, you can ask, but yeah, since raised hand, so just complete it and then.
Before this, before this, when you were talking tau of n, number of divisors of n.
Okay.
In that you took tau of p dash, is that, or just p?
If you know p power 1, actually, I asked for p power
okay.
P power k. Yeah, so this p power 1. So you already know answer. So what is the answer like that? I asked. This is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So k plus 1. Okay, great.
I didn't
okay.
understand how you got tau of p power k is equal to k plus 1.
That I explained already. So what are the divisors of p power k? P power 0, p power 1, p square up to p power k. These are the only divisors.
Okay.
Okay. So I explained even one student asked me. So 3 power 3 I told 27. What are the divisors of 27? 3 power 0, 3 square, 3 power 1, 3 square, and 3 cube.
Right.
So how many are there? So it is, I need to count. So 3 power 0 to 3 power 3. So 0 to 3. So total 4 are there. So k plus 1. So in general, if it is 3 power k, the divisors are like that. Yeah, I hope you can understand later also.
Yes, sir, I understand. Thank you.
So yeah, somebody is telling the sigma. Please tell now.
Sir, if you know the prime factorization, then we can tell.
No. So sigma of n equal to, how do you define? Yeah, yeah.
So we'll define it as sigma d subscript n, and n goes from 1 to n.
Okay, somebody else. This is correct. Little modification has to be done. Yeah, Gaurav.
So d subscript a, and a goes from 1 to n.
Okay, much simpler way I'm looking actually. Somebody else may tell. Yeah. Amaya?
Sir?
Amaya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me sigma n I want to write, okay?
You can write summation d where d divides n.
Yeah, so see, d divides n, all the divisors, d divides n, and I'll write d here. Is it clear to all of you? See, I'm taking the divisors and I'm summing them. Okay. So now I little modify here. Sigma k of n is equal to summation d divides n d power k. Okay. D divides n d power k. So that is sigma k of n. So now somebody can help me that how I define tau in terms of like the summation notation now. So Mehak, are you here, Mehak?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me how tau of n equal to, how we define by using this summation notation? Okay, no problem.
Summation of d divides n and 1.
Very good. So d divides n and 1 here. Okay, each divisor I'm adding. So you are writing a computer program. Okay, whenever d divides n, I'm adding. So you know how to write computer program, right? C is equal to 0. So I take numbers from for loop I start. For I is equal to 1 to n. Okay, whenever I divides n, I'll write C, I increment C is equal to C plus 1, right? So finally, I'll give that. Okay, you can write program easily. Okay, so tau function is that. So those who are taking your presentation as number theory using Sage or number theory using Python, okay, they can write program. So how do you write this one? Python, I'll explain later. Okay, so but so is it all of you are clear with this?
Yes, sir.
So d divides and whenever d divides and I put 1. For example, I'll tell you tau of 10. Okay, so tau of 10 I am taking. So I am taking all the divisor whenever. So 1 divides 10. So I'll put 1. 2 divides 10. I'll put 1 like that only. Whenever it is divides and I'll count 1. Okay. So now by using these two, sorry. Okay. Yeah. 1 minute. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me. Tell. Yeah.
Can you
Tell.
explain
Tell.
once again, sir?
What is that you want to explain me? So if you are clear with
Sigma
that.
1, why you write 1 in place of D?
Yeah. So no. What is sigma of 10? Sigma of 10 is what?
I mean 1 plus 2 plus so on 10.
No. Tell me clearly. What is sigma 10? Sigma of 10.
Okay, I mean sigma function.
No, sigma function. What is sigma 10? Yeah, sigma function. Sorry, I'm not clear here. Thank you. Yeah.
That's 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 10. That's
Very good.
18.
1 plus.
2 plus
No,
5
answer
plus
is not required to me. Answer is
Yes.
not required to me.
Okay.
What is that you told? Again, can you repeat one more time?
1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 10.
Okay, 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 10, right? I am writing here sigma 10 is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 10, correct?
Yes, sir.
But I write this as summation d divides 10 d. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So summation is summing. D divides 10 means divisors only I am summing. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now 1 power how much I have to put? If I put 2 power 0, 5 power 0, 10 power 0, what is it I'll get? It is not sigma now. Are you following now? What is 1 power 0?
1.
2 power 0.
5 power 0, answer is 4.
Answer is 4. What is 4?
Number of divisors of 10.
So that means I'm adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, right? Instead of 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 10.
Yes, sir.
So earlier here for sigma I'm writing d here directly. I'm adding all the divisors, but now I'm adding only 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1.
Okay, so if d divides n, then you add 1, right?
Yeah, so 1 plus I'm counting. So 1 divides 10, so 1. Now plus. So see, I started like this. So I want to find tau of 10, right? So 1 divides 10, yes, 1 plus. 2 divides 10, yes, 1. 3 divides 10, no. 4 divides 10, no. 5 divides 10, yes, 1. 6 divides 10, no. 7 divides 10, no. 8 divides 10, no. 9 divides 10, no. 10 divides 10, yes. Remaining anyhow does not divide. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So how many ones? 4 ones.
4 ones.
So when I am adding, whenever there is a divisor, I am adding.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So this is a nice way to represent tau of n. Now d divides n 1. Yeah, great. Okay. Now, so now can you somebody help me that tau is equal to sigma something here of n? Can you tell me what is a k?
0.
0, right? Sigma 0 of n. So what is that? My point is that every tau function, sigma, all of them are now expressed like this. Okay. Before going further, somebody can help me what is sigma 2 of 10 so that we'll move forward. No need to tell the final answer. Just to give me a summation form only, fine.
1 square plus 2 square plus 5 square plus 10 square.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So again, if your number is p power k, it is easy to compute also. Okay. So not much complicated. Okay, great. So this function is clear to you. And so till now we done two functions, sigma k you can remove. So tau of n and sigma of n. So we discussed these two functions, right? Now I'm defining another function. Okay, so that is called Mobius name is called Mobius function. Okay. So Mobius function is defined like this. How it is defined? So notation is like this, mu. So mu of n. Okay. So mu of n is defined like this. It is 0 if n is not square free. Not square free. Okay, I will explain you what is mean by square free, not square free. Okay, you take 12. 12 is not square free. Not square free. Okay, why it is not square free? Because 2 square is dividing 12. Okay, so a number is not square free. There is at least one prime is there. P square divide that number. If it is square free means, so all exponents are prime power exponents are 1, 1, 1 each. So for example, 10 is square free, 6 is square free, 30 is square free or not? 30.
Yes, sir.
30 is square free because it is equal to 2 into 3 into 5. Prime square is not dividing, so it is a square free number. Okay. So if it is not square free, like 12 and all, answer is 0. Okay. It is otherwise it is -1 power k. Okay, if n is equal to p1 into p2 into pk. Okay, so so it is product of distinct primes. Here PAs are distinct. PAs are distinct. Okay, so p1 power 1, p2 power 1, and so on. So is the function is clear? So if it is clear, please tick yes.
Sir, can you repeat what they mean by square free equivalence?
Square free means, so okay, I'll explain you. So I'll explain one more time. So a number is square free. So yeah, so let me write so that it will be easy for you. N is square free. N is square free for every prime p. So let us assume that p is product of all the prime numbers. Okay, set of all primes. So for every prime p, p square does not divide n. Okay, so n is not square free means what is the negation of this statement?
There exists a
There
prime.
exists a P belonging to P.
There exists a p. There is a prime such that p square divides n. So it doesn't mean that p cube divides n. P cube also divides n. That's okay. P square divides n or not, for some prime I need to check. Not square free. Is it now clear to you? Whoever asked?
Yes.
Aditya. Okay, Aditya Arora. Okay. So n is square free means for every prime p, p square does not divide n. This is the property. See, the negation of this statement is for all becomes there exist. Negation of this statement, p square does not divide n, so p square divides n. Okay. Now I will ask you some question, right? So what is that 18? 18 is square free or not square free?
Sir, it's not.
It is not square free. Not square free. Why it is not square free?
3 square divided.
3 square divides. So that's the matter. Okay. Okay. In that case, mu of 18 is how much?
0.
0. Okay, great. Okay, let us now work out the table little faster way. My table is that now mu, okay, mu of n and n value. So please ready. So I'll pick up one of you. Okay, be ready with the answer. Okay, mu of n.
Sure.
Yes.
So when you write -1 to the power k, that is just a way of saying that it is not square free. That it is square free.
Ah, this is square free case. PAR distinct. I wrote PAR distinct.
Okay.
Yeah, that k only we take. -1 power. How many distinct primes are there? That power k I'll take.
So it's just
Yeah,
a different
thanks.
way of writing that n is square free.
Yeah. So see, this is not square free and this is square free case.
Okay.
Again, further confusion na ho. That's the reason I wrote PAR distinct also, safe side.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, that's good for asking so that definition will be consolidated. Yeah. So that is good to ask actually. Okay. So now please you compute and I'll ask one of you. Okay. So Prakash, are you ready? Dharaneshwar Prakash.
Yes.
Are you ready? Yeah, well, then you can go ahead, please. What is mu of 1?
Sir, 1, can we say -1?
See, so here I not defined. So I'm not defined properly. I made a mistake actually. So I had to go back and I define it. Okay, so what is that? Mu of 1 equal to 1. So here there is no space, so I am writing separately. I had to write when n equal to 1, it is 1. Yeah, so it is not defined actually, because 1 cannot be written as product of primes, na? So mu is so all these are actually domains are domain for all these functions are natural numbers. So 0 and minus negative numbers anyhow will not come. I need to define for all natural numbers. So 1, it is 1. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm not defined earlier. So now it is clear. I'm giving the value. Come from the
sorry, 2 minus 1.
2 minus 1. Very good.
3 minus 1.
Very good.
0.
Very nice.
Minus 1. 1.
Oh, very good.
0. Oh, sorry.
No, I understand. Now you know the answer. So I am putting zeros and things. Okay. So tell me for this sufficient for me.
It's 2 and 5. 1.
Very good. So is that anyone has a doubt in this? Thanks, Dharaneshwar. Many thanks.
Yes, sir.
Arijit, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay, great. So, fine. So, mu function is known. So, what is the range of mu, if you know, Arijit?
Sir?
1 minute. Arijit.
0, 1, or -1.
Yeah, so 0, 1, -1. Right. So, Sankriti.
Sir, I'm still a little skeptical. I know exactly what mu of n is, but I'm not able to understand this table here.
Okay, fine. That's okay. What is mu of 15? You tell me that answer.
Mu of 15 would be, it's not, it's square free.
Okay.
So
it is 3 into 5.
3 into 5.
So that is P1 into P2.
Oh, so that becomes.
So K value
1.
equal to 2. K value equal to 2.
1.
So it's -1 power K. So it is 2, it is 1. Right.
Oh, that way. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So is the table now clear completely, Sankriti?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, fine. Okay. Now I am defining something. So if f is an arithmetic function, okay. So I am defining a new function from this function. Okay. So that is called divisor sum function. Divisor sum function. So I think earlier I made a mistake. That one more mistake I done. So this I wrote divisor sum function. Okay, let us keep, but actually divisor sum function of f, I can say. Divisor sum function of f. Okay. So what is the meaning of this is that, so okay, this is first denoted as df. How it is defined? It is also an arithmetic function. Okay. So it is again a map from natural numbers to complex numbers. But mostly our functions are to natural numbers are like mu function -1, 0, 1. So most of the cases we never cross integers, even natural numbers. Okay, great. So df is again another map. This is constructed from given f. How it is defined? So in order to know a function, I need to know its value at each and every point in the domain. So I'm defining df of n. Okay, I have to tell what is df. Df is a function. Df at n equal to what is the value? So df at n is equal to. So Mehak, do you remember this one from previous class? Okay, Achala, do you remember?
Sir, it was sigma d divides n f of d.
Very good, correct, exactly. So this is sigma d divides n f of d, correct. Okay, thank you, Achala. So this divisor sum function is defined as df of n equal to d divides n f of d. Okay, I'll explain you. So f is some function already. F is already given to you. It is with you. Okay, complex number. So now what is df of 10? Somebody help me. Okay, I'll ask one of you. So so whom to ask? So some person who is not answered till now. So can you Diva? Can you volunteer? Diva Gopal Krishnan? No. So it is still not crossed 6. So I can ask Sankriti.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me what is df of 10? So I'll tell you what is df of n. df of n is that d divides n f of d.
Okay.
I know f of 1, f of 2, f of 3, f of 4, everything. I know f already.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm from f, I'm constructing df. df at n equal to f of sum of the divisors. I'm summing the values of the divisors of f of n at d. Okay. So I'm finding all divisors of n and I'm summing the values of f at those divisors. Okay, fine. So you think about. So I'll ask you think about. I'll give some time to you to think about.
So can I answer?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So f of 1 plus f of 2 plus f of 5 plus f of 10.
Okay, Arjit. So f of 1 plus f of
F
2
of 2,
plus
f of 5,
5 plus f of
10.
Very good. Nice. Okay, great. So once I know the function f, then this is like that. Okay, great. Okay, so now I will ask you, one of you again. Okay. So I'll ask one of you that how many of you remember this function I defined earlier, mu of n? Can you raise your hand? Can you tick yes? Tick yes now. How many of you remember this function? Mu, I asked you to remember. Okay, Santosh, can you tell me?
Sir, 1.
So for every n, right? Great. Okay. Now, can you tell me what is du of n? Yeah, now take time. I'm no need to tell immediately. You think about.
Sir, can I answer?
No, wait. No, wait. Santosh, is the question clear to you?
Sir, is it f of n plus f of n n times?
No, see.
F of u.
No, see.
No, it's
See, df
u
of 10,
n.
df of 10 I told. df of 10 is what are the divisors of 10, right? Divisors of 10 are 1,
sigma,
2, 5, 10.
Sigma,
Yeah, that's okay. No need to tell sigma. Sigma, yeah, sigma. Yes, please, sigma.
d divides n as
Very good.
u of n.
Very good. U of
n.
Yeah, I'm not writing.
Sir, u of 1.
No. See, here df of n is defined as
d.
This is a definition. Yeah. Santosh, go ahead.
U of d.
U of d. Okay, very good. Now can you further simplify this? So summation d divides n. You know u function. F you do not know. That's why you do not write f of 1 is how much. You don't know. But you know u.
Sir, is it tau?
Oh, very good. It is tau. Exactly. 100%. It is tau. See? So u function, divisor sum function of u is exactly tau. Okay, very good. You now is, but I have to write tau of n here. Okay. See, so you are so you are now clear with. So you once that tau came from your brain, so now you are done. But now yourself think. I will not ask you, but you think. Okay. So is it? Do you recall this function n of n? N. I defined it earlier.
Yes, sir. It's n equals n.
Okay. Now what is a question can I ask? Can you predict?
dn
dfn.
of n, sir.
Dn of n. Okay. Yeah. So now you can, if you able to tell, you can tell. Otherwise, you think about. I will ask somebody else. Okay.
Sir, is it sigma?
Very good. Sigma. Can you explain why sigma? Can you explain to everyone why it is sigma? Let us go slowly. Okay. So how do you write? First, we'll write the definition of df, right? That is summation d divides n. Yeah.
D and f of d.
But here my f is n.
N of d.
Very good. N of t. Very good. Now summation d divides n. But I know what is n of d. This is for every n. What is n of d?
Sir, it's d.
Please.
So sigma d.
It is d. Okay. So that's why it is sigma of n. Okay. Sigma of n. Very good. Right. Okay. So you already predicted actually. So you already predicted and you got the correct answer. Very good. Great. Okay. Now, so it is interesting, right? Now, what is d tau also? So you try it. So it is an exploration, okay, exercise and something. So what is d sigma? So sigma, from using sigma, I am now constructing. So in fact, I will agree with you that I also do not know these answers, but it is better to explore and try these questions. Okay, what is d tau and d sigma? Okay, later. Okay, fine. And we will do in this class. We will do d mu. Okay, d mu we will do. Okay, so for that, so let us work out. Okay, so Achila, are you ready? Means I'm not asked any questions. So are you here?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, thank you. So Achila, so my goal is that you know mu function, Mobius function, right?
Yes, sir.
I repeat. Okay, how I repeat one more time because you need, this has to go into your blood. Mu of n is equal to 1 when n is equal to 1, 0 if n is not square free. Okay, and it is equal to minus 1 power k if n is equal to p1 into p2 into pk, where pi's are distinct. Okay, great. So now you know mu of, if I ask you what is mu of 30, you will tell answer, right? What is mu of 30, Achila?
0.
What happened?
It is.
Okay, take time. 30 equal to how much?
So it's minus 1 to the
Right
power
hand.
2.
Minus 1 power 3.
Right.
2 into 3 into 5, 3 distinct primes are there. So it is a square 3 number and all 2 into 3 into 5. What is the famous about 30? You know, it is the smallest number which is divisible by 3 distinct primes. It is the smallest prime divisible by 3 distinct primes. Like 6 is the smallest prime divisible by 2 distinct primes. Okay. Anyhow, so great. Okay, so you know this part, but my goal is that what is du of 30? Okay, so let us work out actually. So now things becoming little complicated, but you will get it slowly. First we'll conjecture and then we'll prove later. Okay, what is my question? I am taking table again. So now n value mu du. Now I am computing du. So now you need to be careful. Okay. So what is at 1, what is at 2, what is at 3? I'll go slowly, okay? Don't afraid of, okay? So in the meantime, those other people start doing this, okay? So for example, I will explain you, okay? For example, what is du of 8? Okay, so it is summation d divides 8 mu of d. What is that again? So this is equal to, so I'm telling 8 value. Remaining people, you try please. Okay, this is mu of 1 plus mu of 2, mu of 4. These are the divisors, right? Mu of 8. Okay. So what is the answer, final answer for this one?
Four.
4. Why 4? Mu of 1 is how much?
1.
Okay. Mu of 2 is how much?
1.
No.
-1.
See,
Okay.
that's what.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry. That's what. So you need to, Mobius function has to go. See, I tell you later that Mobius function how useful in your in many places. Okay. Mu of 4.
0.
0. Mu of 8, 0. Because 2 square is dividing them. They are not square free. Okay, Santosh. Okay. What is the answer? Final answer? It is 0. Okay. So now, so Achala, are you ready now?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So so other people also help you. It is not that you only do. What is du of 1?
1.
1. Very good. Correct. What is du of 2? That means what is that your answer actually? So if you want, you can write in your brain here u of 1 plus u of 2. What are the divisors of 2? 1 and 2. So mu of 1 plus mu of 2 I am doing. What is the answer?
0.
0. What is mu of 3?
0.
Mu of 4. Mu of 4 means now I have to add only up to
Again
here, right?
0.
Again 0. Mu of 5.
0.
0. Mu of 6. Okay, we'll work out. Wait. You know answer, but for everyone, for everyone's sake, I'm doing this. Okay. So du of 6. Du of 6 I'm evaluating. That is mu of 1 plus mu of 2 plus mu of 3 plus mu of 6. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Diva, can you help us? Diva, are you there? Be participate.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yeah. What is mu of 1?
Mu of 1 is 1.
Very good. Mu of 2?
-1.
Very good. Mu of 3?
Mu of 3 is also -1.
Very correct. What is mu of 6?
Mu of 6 is 1.
Very correct. Because it is 2 into 3, 2 primes are there, 2 distinct primes. So it is square free, and so it is -1 power 2. So 1. Great. Okay, nice. So then what is happening now? So what is the answer now? Do mu of 6, Achala? Achala?
So 0.
0. 7, 0. 8. Already we computed 0. 9. Any one of you?
Sir, 0.
0. 10.
10 would be
0 again.
0.
0 again. So what is that you are predicting now? Connect. Thank you, Connect. Yeah. So can you, somebody can predict what is the du now?
Sir, du is 1 only for 1.
Remaining places it is
0.
that is your conjecture, but so conjecture can be stated very nicely. So this function is equal to some known function that I defined today, but how many of you remember, I don't know, but anyhow.
So delta n.
Delta. Thank you. Yeah, I defined delta function. So delta of 1 equal to 1 and delta n equal to 0 for every other place. Okay. Yeah. So this is du equal to delta only, but this is not the proof. It is just a prediction, but we need to prove it. How do you prove it? So that is a question mark.
So can we use induction?
Yeah, you can use induction, but induction is a little complicated actually. Yeah, somebody raised hand. Okay, so who is raised hand? Yeah.
Can you define delta once again? I forgot.
Delta, nothing actually. See, you know richer scale. You watch movies, right? Hello?
Yes.
You watch movies, right? No,
Yes,
don't worry.
yes.
I'm not asking you that movies and all.
Yes, sir.
So, but generally, hero got hero, and hero got so many some accident or something, right?
Yes, sir.
So he taken to hospital, so many bullets and many things. So a lot of people, he will never die, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the hospital, so then there is some instrument will be there, so it will go like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Then all are eagerly wait, so whether he died or alive. But suddenly it becomes like this, right? Afterwards,
Yes, sir.
whether it is true or not, but yeah. So now, so hero is alive. Okay, so Dirac delta function actually when we have earthquakes and all, suddenly the scale goes high, then it suddenly stops. It will go like this.
Yes.
Okay, so Dirac is one person, Dirac delta function. So Dirac function is that, so delta of delta one only at one place. Okay, it is one only at n equal to 1, 0 in all other places when n is not equal to 1. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
At 1 it is a peak, then remaining it is completely silent. Yeah, so it is some people say it is not a function. It is a function, but yeah, so there are so many things are there related to it. Yeah, okay, so so this function is clear. Okay, but now the goal is that you need to prove for general whether it is really true or not. Okay, so this also I'll just leave for exercise today, and we'll do again in the next class. Okay, so why I'm leaving, it is not that we cannot do now. We can do now also, right? Okay, something, why poll came actually, I don't know. Right, so right, hello, yeah, right. Okay, so is the question clear to you, all of you? My question is that du equal to delta, we need to prove. Achla, is the problem clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you observed that du equal to 0 for every number. So can you prove for p power k? As a hint, I'll tell you. So can you do for p power k? What is du of p power k? That is, can you tell?
Mu of p0, mu of p1.
So it is mu of 1 plus mu of p plus
mu of p square.
But is it better to write or not write?
No, sir.
No need to write. Why no need to write, yes, Vishal?
Because p is prime, so mu of p is simply minus 1.
No.
So it is not square free. Mu of p square is not square free. So
p square, p cube and all, they are not square free. They are automatically 0 hai. Right?
Yes. So wait, it's -1 or 0? I keep forgetting.
That is not question. That is not the question. What is du of p power k? That is the question first. Okay. It is actually mu of p, mu of 1 plus mu of p plus mu of p square plus and so on, right?
Yes, sir.
But I no need to write these things because these are all divisible by p square, right? So okay. Finally, simply du of p power k is simply mu of 1 plus mu of p. What is the answer for this? It is 1 here, 0. And it is -1 here. It is 0. So you see that you prove for even prime powers directly, not only for primes. Okay, Achila, is it clear, Achila?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now we need to prove for general n. Yes.
So then we can use fundamental theorem of arithmetic.
Great. Yeah. So that's what my goal is also, that to help that particular way. Very good, Vishal. Now to go that one, I want to define certain things. So let me define those, and we'll get back to you, Vishal. Exactly. Yes. But to use that one, I need to say a few things. Okay. So for that, I am defining now few definitions. Okay. Definition 1, an arithmetic function. An arithmetic function is a multiplicative function. Multiplicative function if f of m into n is equal to f of m into f of n. The arithmetic function f is a multiplicative function if f of mn equal to f of m into f of n for every m comma n GCD equal to 1. Okay, then it is called a multiplicative function. I'll explain you, but this is the first definition. So let me define one more function, then I'll get back to you.
So don't we have to prove this?
Which one to prove that one?
That it is multiplicative.
No, it is a definition. An arithmetic function f is a multiplicative function if f of mn equals to f of.
Okay, so got it. I read the statement.
So it is a definition. So a arithmetic function is said to be a multiplicative function if f of mn equal to f of m into f of n. Okay.
So Euler's function is an example to Shin function.
Okay, let us see. We will see later Euler function. So yeah, yes, we can see that many functions actually. So Euler-Torsion function is very tough function. So already today in the class, so many functions we defined, they are all arithmetic. So they are all multiplicative, right? Okay, so we'll look into that. Okay, 1 minute. Some problem is coming. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now let me define one more thing. That is what we called completely multiplicative function. F is completely multiplicative. Completely multiplicative. F of mn is equal to m into n is equal to f of m into f of n. Now there is no restrictions. Then it is called completely multiplicative. Okay, f of mn equal to f of m into f of n. It is called completely multiplicative. Okay, so but multiplicative only when so every completely multiplicative is multiplicative?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So I do not put any restrictions. So completely multiplicative automatically multiplicative. But multiplicative function need not be completely multiplicative. So f of mn equal to f of m into f of n. Okay. So let us work out. So is a tau a completely multiplicative function? Tau function. Okay. So think about. So I'll give 1 minute time. Okay, 1 minute time. Do not tell immediately. Is tau a completely multiplicative or not? Is sigma completely multiplicative or not? I'm not asking multiplicative. Completely multiplicative. Yeah, any one of you now. Achila or Mehak or anyone.
Tau is not completely multiplicative.
Tau is not completely multiplicative. So why it is so? Can you give an example?
So tau of 4
Okay.
is equal to tau of 2 into 2.
Yeah, so
split
tau
this
of 2 into 2. Yeah.
But tau of 2 is 2 and
So tau
tau
of
of
2
4
into
is
tau
3.
of 2. Yeah. So tau of 2 is how much? 2. Okay, right. Tau of 2 is also 2. Number of divisors of 2 is 2. 2. It is total is 4. But tau of 4 is how much?
3.
3. Okay. So it is not completely multiplicative, is clear. Okay. What about sigma?
Sigma is also not completely multiplicative. The same example works.
Same example works. Okay, let us work out. Sigma 4 is how much? So it is 1 plus 2 plus 2 square. It is 7. Okay. What is sigma of 2 into sigma of 2? Okay. Yeah. So let us work out this. What is sigma of 2? 1 plus 2. Sigma of 2? So it is 9. Okay. So this is 9, it is 7. So they are not equal again. So these are not completely multiplicative. Okay. So last time I remember, Achla, you told. So now, so that's why I'm not asking you, somebody else. Can somebody else help me that today we define certain functions, they are completely multiplicative.
So the constant function.
Okay. Can you tell me?
U of n.
So can you explain me why it is a completely multiplicative? So yeah, so I agree with you, but so everyone has to realize.
Yes, U of n equal to AB.
Okay, mu of AB is equal to, I need to prove mu of A into mu of B, correct?
Yes, sir. 1 into 1 is 1.
So mu of AB, whatever may be the number, it is 1. So 1 is equal to 1 into 1, and it is equal to mu, not mu, U of A into U of B, correct? Very good, correct. Okay, so this is completely multiplicative, correct? Agreed. Yeah. Anyone else?
Delta function.
Delta function completely multiplicative. Are you sure?
Just
okay. So A into B. Yeah. So both are 1. Then yeah. So yeah, I think it is also correct. Yeah, correct. If I'm wrong, please one of you comment.
So it's wrong, right? So half
Right.
into 2.
Half I cannot take. My
domain is natural number, so it can't
natural
be.
numbers.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it.
Okay.
So n of n.
N of n, very good. N of n is also completely multiplicative because n of n is equal to n only, right? This is the function we defined. So, so why this is completely multiplicative? Okay, well, let us work out. What is n of AB? It is AB only. So it is n of A into n of B, correct? So these are all completely multiplicative. So completely multiplicative, so they automatically multiplicative also. Okay, nice. Okay, so you see later why we are defining all these things, and yeah, so that will come across in a short while ago. Okay, so these are all completely multiplicative functions, but tau and sigma are not completely multiplicative, that we proved. Okay, so let me write once. Okay, are not completely multiplicative. Whereas U delta n are completely multiplicative. Okay, great. Now we'll go a little further now. Sorry.
So mu is also not completely multiplicative. Mobius.
Sorry, which one?
Mobius function is also not
Mobius
completely
function.
multiplicative.
So can you tell me how it is, why it is not completely multiplicative?
So take mu of 4.
Mu of 4, okay. Yeah, you tell.
So
you can
4
explain.
is not. So nu of 4. So 4 is not square free. Therefore nu of 4 would be 0. But if 4 is equal to 2 into 2, so nu of 2 into nu of 2. So nu of 2 is -1 and nu of 2 is -1. So the product is 1, which is not equal.
Very good. So so I added here. Thank you. So tau, sigma, mu are not completely multiplicative. Okay, nice, good. Yeah. Okay, fine. Now I am telling that f is so before going further, so let us work out this. Okay, I given that f is completely multiplicative. F is completely multiplicative. I told that f is completely multiplicative. What is the advantage of this? Okay, that we need to see. Why we are defining all these things. Okay, so that we need to see. See, These are already there in your life. Okay, you come across actually. You know determinant function, determinant of AB equal to determinant of A into determinant of B. So how useful that identity is, right? Like that, when you know that function is completely multiplicative, then you will have some advantages. Okay, so I'll tell you some
So
nice.
you
Yes, please, Vishal.
Yes, yes, so you can define it recursively in terms of smaller values.
Okay, yeah, that is okay, Vishal. But I think you are very nice actually. Your brain is actually computer science brain. Very good, great. So I now I can work with you later. Okay, so I'll come to you later. Yeah. So, but before that, so somebody else can tell what is the advantage of completely multiplicative function.
So if we know for primes, then we can get for everything else.
Yes, somebody is telling. So voice is very low, but I listened actually. Kaushik, right?
Yes, sir.
So Kaushik is telling what he's telling. So none of you, maybe many of you are not listened. I'll tell you what he told. Wonderful thing he told. So see, in order to define a function, so arithmetic function, right? So I need to know f value at each and every point in the domain. I need to know f of 1, I need to know f of 2, I need to know f of 3 and all. But if I know it is completely multiplicative, it is sufficient to know at which values?
Prime values.
Prime values, and also at 1, of course. Okay, but at 1, what is the answer, right? So for that we'll do something and then we'll come back to this. Okay, that's a good thing that it is sufficient to find at prime numbers. Why? Suppose I know that my n is equal to p1 power a1, p2 power a2, and so on pk power ak, right? Then what is my f of n? Okay, this is f of p1 power a1, p2 power a2, and so on pk power ak, right? What is he telling? First, this is equal to p1 power a1, okay, into f of pk power ak. Okay, now this also I can write p1 a1 times. So this is f of p1, f of p1, so f of p1 a1 times. Okay, like that I'll write. Okay, so now in order to know f of n value, I need to know at primes only. So beautiful. So in order to know the function, it is sufficient to know only at primes. So number theory we are doing. So now it is useful. My function is already completely multiplicative. If I know, it is sufficient to know only at the primes. What happens if it is only multiplicative but not completely multiplicative? Somebody can predict now. I know that it is multiplicative but not completely multiplicative.
We can't write f of p1 to the power a1 as f of p1 into f of p1.
So here you cannot write, but here to here can I write? You are correct that so f of p1 power a1, I cannot write f of p1 into f of p1 into f of p1. That's fine. I understood.
Yes,
but can I write from here to here?
Yes, sir.
Why we can write?
So because the GCD of two different prime powers will be 1.
1. So their GCDs is 1. So if once their GCDs are 1, I can separate this. So now can you tell Arjit? So in order to know, I know f is multiplicative, need not be completely multiplicative. Then where I need to know to find all the values?
Sir, I didn't get the question.
See, Kaushik told that if f is completely multiplicative, then where it is sufficient to find?
All the prime power, prime factors.
Primes only, right? If I know at primes, I know at every value, right? If I know f of 2 and f of 3, f of 5, then I know at f of 10 also. F of 10 is equal to f of 2 into f of 5. It is completely multiplicative. Not only here, it is even true for multiplicative. So I take f of 12. F of 12 is equal to f of 4 into 3, right? Then I know f of 4 into f of 3, but it is multiplicative. So I know f of 2 into f of 2 into f of 3, right? So it is sufficient to know at 2 and 3 to get at 12.
So
Okay,
we need to
in
know
general,
about prime powers if it is multiplicative.
multiplicative. If it is multiplicative, it is sufficient to know at prime powers. Okay. Now our goal is to see that whether tau is a multiplicative. If we know that it is not completely multiplicative, because we know tau value at prime powers. Okay, can you recall somebody what is tau of p power k value?
K plus 1.
Very good, k plus 1. You already, somebody is very sharp today. Yeah, you are very smart and are there. Good. So we know at prime powers. So if you are able to show that it is completely multiplicative, then it is, I am done. I can find it every place. That's what Vishal is telling that earlier. So I use the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay, so we'll go again slowly. So, but still I don't know function f of 1, right? So first we'll tackle that. So then we'll go for the, so I will go for, so somebody has some doubt actually, chat kiya hai. Yeah, so Arijit, you are audible. Okay, fine, no problem. So, so Kathy,
Yes, sir.
right now, just now I opened the chart actually. Huh?
Okay.
You saw that one? No, right?
No, sir.
Yeah, I think I am only sharing this one particular thing. I think you cannot see that. I'll again open the
Yes, sir.
chart.
Sir,
Now I
this
open the
is-
chart. No,
Yeah,
I
sir.
open the chart. Are you able to see the chart?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Are you able to see the chart?
Yes, sir. Now I can see.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
So you mean
Okay.
on your screen?
Ah,
You mean on your screen while sharing?
no, yeah, on my screen.
No, sir. We can't see
No,
when
sir.
you're.
That's what I'm asking. Now you can see chart at there, your end. That's all I know. But here,
Yes, sir. Not on your screen.
No,
Sorry,
sir.
sir.
not on the screen, right? But are you able to see the board, complete board? I put the chart in the middle of my
Yes,
board.
yes.
Yes, sir. Board is completely, we can see without chat.
Okay, fine. Actually, in fact, even so, that is one more advantage of this
Zoom app.
Zoom app. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Yeah, fine. Okay, so I'm now telling that f is multiplicative, because complete multiplicative is multiplicative. So I'm for multiplicative itself, I am finding the f of 1 value. Then complete multiplicative also I can find f of 1 value. So let us work for completely so for a multiplicative function. I'm telling f is multiplicative. So what is f of 1 value? So this is the question mark. So take your own time. So I'll give some time to you and you come up if you're able to come up.
Sir, is it multiplicative or totally completely?
No, I told multiplicative only. Yes. I do not even need completely multiplicative. I can get value. Yes, Aditya. No, 1 minute. Yeah, multiplicative means that f of ab equal to f of a into f of b if a comma b GCD1. In that case only. Yeah. So somebody want to tell the answer? Who is that? Kaustav. Yeah, go ahead.
F of 1 is equal to f of in brackets 1 into 1, so we can expand that.
Okay. F of 1 is equal to f of 1 into 1. Fine. It is equal to f of 1 into f of 1. Okay, correct. Then what next?
We can use the cancellation property. F of 1 cancels.
Okay.
F 1 is 1.
Why you can use cancellation property? That also we need to be clear. Let us work out that. Okay. Now f of 1 is equal to f of 1 into f of 1. So I can take f of 1 common. 1 minus f of 1. So is equal to 0. Right? Are you okay?
So f of 1 has to be 1 for the function to be multiplied.
No. So see, my function is natural numbers to natural number, then it's okay. But f of 1 can be 0 also. What is the problem?
So, but then if f of 2 is equal to f of 2 into f of 1.
So yeah, very good. Whoever is telling, wonderful actually. So now f of So now f of 2 value, you are correct. It is 2 into 1. So GCD of 2 comma 1 is 1. So it is f of 2 into f of 1. Wonderful. So f of 1 is 0. So it is equal to 0. What is the problem? So finally, what is your answer now?
We'll get all primes as 0, f of p as 0.
That much only you get. Still, can I get every value at everywhere?
Yes, because n can be written as prime of multiplications of prime, and f of p is 0. So,
So
0 into 0.
That's what. See, Vishal. So when he told 2 equal to 2 into 1, so now you can tell easily f of 1 is equal to.
No, so, what do you mean?
No. I mean, what I mean, you will realize in a while. You are unnecessarily going to prime factorization and all.
Okay, sir.
No, it's okay.
So then
You not
f of n equal to
f of n equal to
f of n into 1.
F of n into 1.
So everything goes to 0.
Right. So I do not need any of these. Yes, f of n equal to f of n into. So that's why sometimes we'll confuse when you do only particular two. See, you see, this is beautiful, right? Better to do for general n, right?
Okay.
Then otherwise, more time. Yeah, good. But so everything mapped to 0. Is it not multiplicative? Constant map, it is actually completely multiplicative. So that is allowed actually, no problem. But so there are two possibilities will be there. F of 1 can be 0 or f of 1 can be
1.
Yeah. So now onwards, when you are saying multiplicative, it is a 0 function. Completely everything goes to 0. In that case, okay, f of 1 is 0. So what is that we got is that f is a multiplicative, then f of 1 has only two values, 0 or 1. That much we came to know. And not only that, we know more. When f of 1 is equal to 0, we know the function also. F is equal to identically equal to 0. This also we know. If f is not identically 0, then we can't say. So f of 1 equal to 1 we say, but from this you do not know what is f. That much is okay. Fine. So now when it's completely multiplicative also same thing. So this is even completely multiplicative also. So if you exclude that 0 case, then it is 1 only every time. Yeah. So whatever you all predicted, it is correct. So now, so you no need to worry about f of 1 value also. So once you know completely multiplicative, it is sufficient to know only at primes. If it is multiplicative, it is sufficient to know only at prime powers. Prime power we need to know. Okay, fine. Now let us work out now. What is that I want to say now is that okay. Okay, now I'll tell you one small thing. Okay, now onwards. So yeah, before going further, any questions? Gap may be useful to you. Any questions till now? Because one cannot concentrate more time. Lohit?
Sir?
Any questions?
No, sir.
Very good. Akshay, Jaykumar? Okay. Anusha, is it everything fine? Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure why f of 1 is 0.
Okay. See, f is multiplicative. Multiplicative means that I'll tell you, f of AB is equal to f of A into f of B only when GCD of AB equal to 1.
Yes,
so somebody told that f of 1 can be written as f of 1 into 1. What is GCD of 1 comma 1?
So 1.
1, right? GCD of 1 comma 1 is 1. So it is, I can now write f of 1 into f of 1. So f of 1 is equal to f of 1. So forget about middle guy. F of 1 is equal to f of 1 into f of 1. Bring to one side. I can take f of 1 common. 1 minus f of 1 equal to 0. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Now product of two numbers equal to 0, complex numbers are real numbers, then one of them has to be 0. Do you know the proof for that? A into B equal to 0 implies A equal to 0 or B equal to 0. You know the proof?
Proof.
Okay, so work out that. So I'm leaving to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more questions, anyone? Okay, I'll go now. Okay. So the question is this. So before that, just I'll ask small question so that, so I have m comma n GCD equal to 1. Okay. M comma n GCD 1. Two numbers are there, that GCD is 1. Okay. Now I'm telling that D divides Mn. M into n product. How D look like? So to make you more clear, okay, I take 4 comma 25. I take 4 comma 25. Their GCD is 1, right? Now I'm telling D divides 100. So what we can say about D, how it look like? Any guess? It is a open question little bit.
So D can be M or N.
No, so that may not be true. See, now it is 4 into 25, right?
Yes, sir. So 4 divides it.
No. I am taking my m equal to 4 and n is equal to 25, and D divides 100. I told. So D divides 4. So can it 10 will not work?
It will work.
10 divides 100 also, right?
Yes, sir. I'm just saying that it can be 4 or 25. Not.
Yeah, that is okay. That is okay. But I need general answer now. Much more general than. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So it is equal to again something. Yeah. So that is what I'm looking. Yeah. So okay, let us wait. Yeah. Anyone tell? Then we'll see. So I take some divisor of 100. How it look like? Achila. Okay, Mehak. Hello, Mehak. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Can you tell us? Okay, Kanak is there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you tell me, Kanak? Okay.
I was thinking we could write it as some BQ in the form some BQ plus R.
No, okay, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll give you more clarity. Okay, question I'll make it much more better. I'm claiming that D is equal to D1 into D2, where D1 do something, D2 do something. Every divisor of 100 is like this. Can you now guess what we can say about D1, what we can say about D2? You take different divisors and check.
D1 must divide M and D2 must divide N.
Right. So every divisor is like that. So so every divisor is written as D1 into D2. Every divisor of 100, you take any divisor. Okay. For example, let us take my D is equal to 50. 50 divides 100. So 50 can be written as 2 into 25. Right. Now 2 divides 4 and 25 divides 25. Okay. So every divisor is like that. So if my D equal to 1, of course, 1 into 1, 1 divides 4 and 1 divides 4. So, so that is one thing. So Kanak, can you help me more? What is the GCD of D1 comma D2?
That has to be 1.
That is also 1. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So these are the things, right? So if m comma n GCD is 1, D divides Mn. So every divisor of Mn is look like D1 into D2. D1 divides M and D2 divides M. And their GCD is 1. Yeah. So this we know. Now we will. I'm proving a small theorem here. If f is a multiplicative function, Okay, then df is a multiplicative function. Okay, so remember what is df? You know, df, divisor sum function of f. So if f is multiplicative, then df is also multiplicative function. That I need to prove. Okay, so remember what is given, what is we need to show. Given that f is multiplicative, claim is df is also multiplicative. Okay, so proof. What is that we need to show? So, so somebody can help me.
Sir, let GCD of AB be 1, then we have to show that.
Okay, yeah, I'll take m comma n. Okay, so just
Yes.
let m comma n equal GCD is 1. Yeah, okay, what next?
DF of Mn.
Ah, very good. Consider, thank you.
Yes.
Consider df of at mn. Yeah. So I need to show that finally when I stop, when I show that df of mn equal to df of m into df of n. Very good, nice. When you told that means you understood the, yeah, so what next? So I need to show that finally I have to show that this is equal to df of m into df of n. Very good, very nice. But in between steps are required now. Okay, so we'll write steps one after the another. Now first step, can somebody help me? Definition of df.
df is equal to sigma d divides mn f of d.
F of t. Very good, great, very nice. What next?
So since we showed that GCD of, if GCD of Mn is 1, D has to divide M or D has to divide N, we can.
No, that is not I told. Every divisor looks some other form.
Sorry, that
D is of the form d1 into d2 divides mn f of d1 d2. Okay, further we told, not just we stopped there. What is that we told extra?
So we know that the GCD of d1 and d2 has to be 1.
That is okay. More than that, before that we told something.
And f is multiplicative.
No, not that is okay. So we told about d1 d2 also. d1 divides m and
d2 divides d2 divides.
And you are now correct. This f is multiplicative. So I can write it as f of d1 into f of d2 because d1 comma d2 GCD is 1. Very good. Now everything is there. Okay. Now what next? What is the next step?
So in the last step, we'll take two summations, right?
Arjit, yeah, can you, Arjit or someone, I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry, I was asking in the last step. So first we'll sum for m and then we'll sum for n.
Yeah, so yes, you are correct. So it is all d1 divides all divisors m and fd. Correct, so connect, yeah. So summation d2 divides n fd2. So this is going to be equal. Okay, I will explain with one example so that it will be much more easy for you. Okay, so let us take some number. Let us take n is equal to, so 36 lete hain. Okay, 36. So 36 equal to 4 into 9. Okay, so 4 into 9. Okay, so now so what are the divisors of 36? Sorry, it is a very big number, but even then it will be helpful for us. So actually it is so it is equal to how do you write? So f of 1 plus f of all the divisors, right? F of 2 plus f of 3 plus f of 4 plus, okay, so many big things. F of 4 plus f of 6 plus f of 9 plus f of 12 plus, am I missing something? 36. I'm not missed anything, right? Okay, great. Okay.
18.
18. F of 18 and f of 36. Okay, great. So f of 18 plus f of 36. Okay, I'm explaining with one example. So I keep f of 1 as it is. F of 1 plus f of 2 also I keep as it is. F of 3 as it is. F of 4 as it is. F of 4, in fact, you can write 2 square if you want, but this is 2 into 3. So this is f of 2 into f of 3, right? So f of 9, I'll write as it is. F of 12, I write it as f of 4 into f of 3. 3 comma 4 GCD is 1. F of 18 is f of 2 into f of 9. Yeah. So f of 36, f of 4 into f of 9. Okay, great. Okay. Now we need to check that is really equal to, so f of 1 plus, okay, f of 1 is 1 only, you remember, f is multiplicative. So here in this case, it is multiplicative, and I need to mention every time, but whenever I not mention, it is not a zero function, right? So if it is a zero function, anyhow true. Okay, better mention that. Okay, yeah, so sometimes I am very careful, so I will ask so special, so you will also may ask. If f is zero function, then df is also 0, I'm done. So I'm excluding that case. Okay. Yeah, so now f of n equal to 1. So I'll write f of 2 plus f of 4 into here f of 1 again, f of 3 divisors of 9. Okay, f of 9. So is it, I'm covering everything, f of 1 into f of 1, f of 1 only. So I got it. F of 2 into f of 1 here, f of 3 into f of 1 is here, right? You do agree that everything is covered? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12. Why something is missing? Okay, because yeah, f of 1 into f of 1 is f1 like that. Okay. Anyhow, let us check. 36 is coming f of 4 into f of 9. F of 2 into f of 9 is also coming here. Yeah, all of them will come. Okay. Yes. Is it okay? Everyone is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What is advantage of this now? Now we'll see the beauty. I will prove different ways. So first I want to show one shot today. Before completion of the class, I want to show all the things at one shot. That's why I followed this approach. But later I'll give you different approaches. Now the question is that is tau multiplicative? This is the question. Sigma is multiplicative? Is mu multiplicative? Anyone help me? How I prove these are multiplicative or not? How I check? So do you know tau is equal to d of something? Santosh told.
D of un.
Du, right? Tau equal to du. Do not tell n. See, these are functions. So functions are equal mean they have to be equal at each and every point in the domain. So you have two functions f and g. They are equal mean they have to be equal at f of n equal to g of n for every n. Yeah. So it is tau equal to du. Now what do you know about u?
U is completely multiplicative.
So completely multiplicative. So it is
Therefore,
multiplicative.
it is multiplicative. So therefore tau is multiplicative from the previous.
Yes. See the power of one result. Yeah. What about sigma?
D of n.
No, Arjit. Arjit not allowed. Okay. Somebody. So sigma equal to Kaushik. Kaushik Vasan.
Oh yes, sir. N is multiplicative, so
Say little louder.
n is multiplicative, so sigma is multiplicative.
Okay. See, he told very See, he not told, that is the way to response, okay? He told very crisp answer, very crisp answer. So n is multiplicative, he told. See, he not told sigma equal to d and everything. So that is the, you need to give answers like that also. Try to learn that. Sigma equal to dn, when is multiplicative, so sigma is multiplicative. Yeah, mu, somebody help me.
D delta.
D delta. Delta is multiplicative, so this is multiplicative. So we proved that all of them are multiplicative. So what is the advantage of this now? What is the advantage of this now? Let us now work out. So now my n is equal to, so if they are multiplicative, you know, these are not completely multiplicative. You see the beauty here, a beauty or whatever. So u and n are delta are completely multiplicative, but their du's are not completely multiplicative only. Okay. So whether it is completely multiplicative or not, du is also multiplicative. That much we know, right? Okay, fine, good, nice. So now in all these functions, you know already, tau of 1 is 1, sigma of 1 is 1, mu of 1 is 1, right? So that verified. Okay, great. Now I want to, now n is equal to p1 power a1, p2 power a2, up to pk power ak. Now I want to find tau of n. Okay. Now it is completely, so it is multiplicative. So it is sufficient to know at prime powers only. Do I know at prime powers? That is a question. Okay. So if I know at prime powers, I know at n also now. Okay. So let us work out that. What is tau of p1 power a1?
A1 plus 1.
1 plus 1.
A1 plus 1. Okay. What is, sorry, 2 here. What is tau of p2 power a2?
A2 plus 1.
A2 plus 1. Okay. Like that, this is ak plus 1. You see the beauty of, it is not depend upon the primes. It is depends upon the exponents. That's why you know that tau of 6 is equal to tau of 10. Okay. Number of divisors of 6 and number of divisors of 10 and number of divisors of 15. Okay, number of divisors of prime number, irrespective of the prime, whatever may be the prime, exponent only makes the difference. Okay, so that is a beauty. Yeah, so I'm about to stop, but so you understand the proof that, so now this you try to write in a compact way now. Okay, so tau of n is equal to product I is equal to 1 to k. How many distinct primes are there? So you write ai plus 1. Okay, great. So this is done. This is done now. Okay. What about sigma of n? Sigma of n value. Okay. So sigma of n value is, what is that? So sigma of p1 power a1 into sigma of p2 power a2 and so on, sigma of pk power ak. But you know that sigma of p1 power a1 is 1 plus p1 plus and so on plus p1 power a1. And similarly these products. But we further simplified it, okay, by geometric progression business. So this is p1 power a1 plus 1 minus 1 by p1 minus 1 into p2 power a2 plus 1 minus 1 by p2 minus 1 and so on. So pk power ak plus 1 minus 1 by pk minus 1. So let us again write in the product form. So product I is equal to 1 to k. So pi power ai plus 1 minus 1 by pi minus 1. Right. Okay. Any questions?
Sir, I didn't understand why tau, sigma, and mu are multiplicative.
How that? No, it's okay. Tau and sigma multiplicative. How? Okay. Is mu multiplicative?
Yes, sir.
So what is this result we proved just before? I proved only one theorem today. This is the theorem I proved. F is multiplicative, then DF is also multiplicative.
Oh, great.
Okay, so this is the one result I proved, and I'm using that now. Okay, so so U is multiplicative, so DU is multiplicative, so tau is multiplicative, like that. Yeah, I'll give alternative proof also. So many different proofs I'll give. It is not closed. Yeah. Okay, so before going to stop, so I'll ask few questions to you. Okay, so I'm telling that tau of n is equal to odd. What we can say about n? Okay, so take up this question. Question number 2. So I want to know this one. D divides n d. Can somebody help me? What is this equal to? What is that actually? It is in English. How do I write? In earlier it is summation. Now it is a product pi. It is what is? No. It is product of
all divisors.
All divisors. Okay, positive
n.
of course. Positive divisors of n.
And
okay,
which is equal to n.
No. So you may know some
yes,
answer.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I want this answer also. Okay, now you can ask. See, when you have when you have your brother or sister, they are studying maybe 10+1 or 10+2. So now you can challenge them. Okay, what is the challenge? So how many divisors are there for 100? Okay, how many divisors are there for 100? It is, you know, that it is 2 square into 3 square, right? So you know how many divisors are there. It is 2+1 into 3+1 directly, right? So it is total, so 2+1 and 2+1, total 9 divisors are there. So without actually counting the divisors, you are telling the answer, right? Okay, now similarly,
2 square into 5 square.
Okay, that is okay. So it is irrespective of what, but yeah, thank you for correcting. But it is independent of the prime, so it is 9. Okay, so 2 square into 3 square also, that is 36 also. Number of divisors is 9 only. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Good. So what is that I want to say, that now you can challenge some 10th class student or 9th class student, just fun. Okay, it is like a magic. They do not know, right? You give me any number, I'll tell you the number of divisors, right? They will check later. Yeah, similarly sigma. Okay, now similarly this question, as a fun, try this. What is this equal to? I'll tell you whatever n you give me, I'll tell you the answer. Okay, like that. So try to figure out, but of course, exact answer little difficult. It because I need to product all of the divisors, little cumbersome. Yeah, for example, even 32. So 32, you know what is that we can do, but yeah, in general, yeah. So this is another question.
Prime it is easy.
Prime it is easy.
Can we somehow use that?
No, yes, you can use that one also. Yeah, but there are some other ways also, right? Yes. Yeah, you can try. You will realize that nice things later. So try it. Yeah, it is instead of telling. Yeah, giving hints. Okay, I'll stop here. Maybe in the next class, there is a high chance that I may not join in the beginning, but so there is a Kathy, one person is here. So she will start the class, okay? Stop recording.
Excuse me, sir.